Fantastic. You know what? So Jamal fought first, obviously on the card. So obviously we'll start off with his bout with Derevyanchenko. The thing is, Derevyanchenko, he's a very underrated fighter at 160. I rate him. I rate him highly. I'd put him in the top five at 160. Obviously Canelo, with we're not sure of what his plans are. If he's at 168 sort of thing, but he still obviously holds. I think he's got the WBC franchise belt, isn't he, at 160? I believe, sort of thing. But still, obviously he's still, around that weight category as well. I'd put him at number one at 160, obviously with his track record, with his accomplishments, and his ring finesse and abilities. But yeah, I'll put Derevyanchenko at probably at five in a list there. And I think you know what, I was with Eric Morales in Tijuana when he fought Triple G. We watched the fight together, and we both felt Derevyanchenko did enough to beat Triple G. I mean, it was a close fight. I'm not going to go on to down the road of using the most overly used word in boxing, which is robbery. Close fights aren't robberies. Robberies are like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield first fight, or Pacquiao first fight. Those are robberies. So I'm not a big fan of using that word loosely. But it was a close fight, and I thought Derevyanchenko did enough to win, as did Eric Morales, legend, and his analysis and knowledge of boxing. And also he put on a very good fight with Daniel Jacobs. So he's no mug, Derevyanchenko. He comes to fight, he comes to win. So I knew going into that. I thought when I saw the matchup, I saw from the Showtimes, the fights that they were having, I was like, wow, these looks like there's some good fights on the schedule coming up. So and they've still got some great fights coming up. Obviously Fox have as well, obviously all through the PBC banner. And but yeah, so that fight I was really looking forward to. I thought it's going to be a good fight. I thought it's going to be a test as well for Jermall Charlo. And the thing is, and you've seen some of my tweets from back in 2018 it was, and I rated Jermall Charlo since then at 160. And I said I think since 2018 I said that I believe that he would beat Triple G. So that's how I've rated Jermall Charlo. And I thought the fight was a very good fight. It showed Jermall Charlo's pedigree. It showed how good he is against a solid, durable, tenacious fighter like Derevyanchenko. What I like about Jermall is he's very technical. I think he's a little bit more technical than Jermell. They don't fight the same. I think there are some differences, but Jermall, I love his jab. Got a very, very good jab. It's like piston just shoots. And when he's boxing like that, I think he'll be a very difficult man to beat. And I put him number two behind Canelo. Very good power. His right hand, he shoots it straight, and he shoots it over as an overhand right as well. Over the left glove. So he's got a variety. He's got a very good uppercut, which we know he's stopped a number of guys with the uppercut. Very, very good punch he has. So he's a very versatile fighter. Good foot movement. And the only thing was where Derevyanchenko kind of came back into the fight was when Jermall stopped using the jab, and then it gave him an opportunity to come in, and because obviously Derevyanchenko, his only real way to have got a chance in winning was kind of come in close quarters and trying to bully Jermall around and trying to sort of push him against the rope and unload, which he did do a few things. And I thought in the end, I scored the fight 8-4 to Jermall. I think one of the Las Vegas judges, Tim Cheatham, is a very good judge in my opinion. He scored it simply. He scored it the same as myself, 8-4. I thought that was a fair way of judging it. I thought Derevyanchenko did enough to get at least sort of 4 rounds scored in his favour. But the thing was, when Jermall kind of abandoned the jab, it worked in his favour. So I think he just needs to be a bit more persistent in that regard. but you could see how he was sort of, move around, landing some good shots. He hurt Derevyanchenko, and obviously, he's carried that power to, from 154 to 160 very well. Fighters they're not able to do that. I think Jermall's he's a very strong fighter. He's athletic, versatile, good selection of his punches. He boxes very well, and obviously he fight well on the inside as well, sort of thing. So he's got a lot of characteristics. I think he'll be. He's the man, obviously, aside from Canelo, because obviously Canelo's kind of going up and down in weights and stuff like that. Canelo, for me, from what he's done, his CV, his resume and stuff, he's number one at 160. If he's still going to campaign at 160, that is. But aside from him, I think Jermall is the man to be at 160. Very, very good fighter. I rate him very highly. I put Jermall number 2. I put Triple G 3. I put Demetrius Andrade 4th, and Derevyanchenko at 5. One guy who I think is knocking on the door and will be in the top 5 soon is Hammy Munguia. Again, it's someone who I rate highly. He was solid at 154. I had no idea how he made 154. But he's obviously now more 160. I think he's had 2 fights now at 160. But I think when he has some of the high names and stuff, I think he'll be he'll definitely be in the top 5 for sure.
That as well. I wasn't sure who I was more impressed with, because Rosario was a big puncher. He's a devastating puncher. But Derevyanchenko had a higher skill level and was as equally dangerous as Jermall. And Jermall pulled ahead in that fight with that jab. That jab was working like I've never seen it work before for him. And Derevyanchenko had no answer for the jab. I was very surprised by that. And every time he stopped using his jab, Derevyanchenko would slightly get closer to him and start having his way in trading with him. And he was hitting Charlo with some clean right hands. So Charlo had to suck it up and take some shots from Derevyanchenko. But when he used that jab, it was working like gold. And he busted up Derevyanchenko pretty convincingly. Derevyanchenko, that was his 3rd title fight. In my opinion, this is the first time he clearly lost his title fight. All he had on his face after that fight, I think, was a vindication to himself of, this is a measuring stick. I beat this man, who is a beast of a fighter. I beat him more convincingly than a guy like Danny Jacobs and Triple G. I think he's feeling confident about his chances against those guys. And that was a solid win for him, because Derevyanchenko, he was a game fighter. Even in the last bit of the fight, Charlo fatigued a little bit, maybe because of the layoff, maybe because of all the work he had to put in to keep Derevyanchenko at bay. And Derevyanchenko came on heavy in the 11th and 12th, and Charlo withstood it. I think he should stick around, maybe see if he can get a unification fight. There's definitely work to be done. He's beaten one hell of a name in the division, and that commands respect and attention. Maybe he can land a fight with a Triple G, or possibly beckon Canelo to come back down and fight him if Canelo's willing. There's also Billy Joe Saunders. There's a lot of names out there that he can mix it up with, but I don't know if they're gonna want to mix it up with him after this, But eventually, I do see him going to 168. Charlo was huge at 160.
Him and Triple J, I think that'll be a good fight. And one thing people say, age this, age that. I say this about any sport. Age doesn't mean anything. The only time age matter when your body's been beat up, because you can still be. I'm old, I'm in my 30s, and you can still be in your 30s and your body still be fresher than young guys. That's the thing. You take care of your body. Once you take care of your body, everything else is magic. But with him fighting Triple G, I think it'll be a real good fight. I want to see him and Canelo, to be honest. That fight right there, that would really. I think that's. I go for Jermall. I will go for Jermall, but whoever win that fight, to me, they're pound for pound. They'll be pound for pound in boxing, in my opinion.
54 titles now, doesn't he? So he's earned his way. I've heard about the Charlos for a long time. Jermall, fantastic boxer, heavy-handed, speed, power, very well conditioned. And, that jab, goodness me, it must have really, it's very rare you see a guy knock somebody out with a jab, even more to the body. It was like, wow. I mean, it's a good shot to hit people with. I know Floyd Mayweather's, that's one of Mayweather's best punches. But Jermall, he really put a hole through him with that. And Rosario's no pushover. He's a world-class, top-notch fighter. And he's made a statement. Jermall has really made a statement now that people need to take these Charlos seriously, because I think for a long time in their divisions they were almost overlooked, even as world champions. Now I think everybody's thinking, whoa, okay, these guys have made a statement. So it's good. It's good for boxing that these brothers. It's a great story that the pair of them, world champions, doing really well, and they're looking really good. So there's some big fights out there. I want to see them now that they've proven that they are the absolute elite level of their division too. I want to see them against, top fighters like, Chris Eubank Jr. and, all the top guys. I mean, you got Canelo up there as well. So it's going to be very interesting. I think both the Charlo brothers are going to be ones to watch, the pair of them. They're both equally as dangerous.
Think about Jermall's victory.
Bro, that's what you call, Floyd used to say this too. Man, I'm going to bust him up. He busted him up, bro. That's how you bust somebody up. That's what Tank Davis going to do to Leo before he stop him. Because when Floyd is in your ear, bro, pause, when he in you, in your spirit and making you do what he wants you to do, Floyd knows, and with Gervonta and the Charlos, because Floyd is over the PBC too, let's be real about it. He is the face of boxing still. He's grossed the highest income. He beat 23 world champions. Broke his own gate. He just done so much, bro. It's kind of like when you decide to let Floyd integrate into your life, and with all the other things that's going on, and I can see the Charlos are starting to pay attention more. They were gonna really bust you up, bro. Derevyanchenko is never gonna be the same again. Watch, bro. He need to take a year off. And I don't mean to say that because, I really box. So I'm not saying that to be derogatory to the good Ukrainian brother, but he know that, bro. You can't take shots like that for 12 rounds. That's worse than getting knocked out. You know that. He took a beating, bro. He had heart and he did that, but I felt like they could have stopped that fight in the 9th, 10th round. They could have stopped it. He wasn't going to do nothing. He first of all, he ain't had the size. He didn't have the crack. I felt, even though I still feel like Charlo got a little tired, but when you in there against another fighter like that, bro, you're going to get tired. So for all my people who watching, you just got to realize Sugar Ray Leonard got tired. And that's my favorite fighter of all time, besides the Alis and the Floyds. But Sugar Ray Leonard got tired against Hagler. You know what I'm saying? In a 12-rounder. He didn't want 15. So, hey, Sugar Ray, hey, I love you. Hey, bro, come on. But I'm just saying, like, when you in there against Canelo, got tired against Golovkin the second time because he chose to go forward. It's about how you perform with your going back to your basics and being fundamental when you tired. And Charlo did that. He kept his hands up good. He weathered the late onslaught, and he kept working, bro. And that showed a lot because Derevyanchenko, I thought, beat Triple G. Hey, Charlo will stop Triple G, and I'm not mad at Triple G no more for not wanting to take that fight because Triple G got a good jab too, but his jab ain't like Charlo's because Charlo be sticking, flicking, feinting, and hooking off the jab, bro. Triple G only sticking the jab. That's all he do. I don't want to see them go jab for jab. Because when Triple G fight another good opponent, he don't do nothing but jab. If you don't believe me, just go look up all the best numbers. Triple G's best numbers in his fights when he fought credible opponents like the Jacobs and the Canelos, he threw only minimal body shots and he threw a record number of jabs for himself. Because the people he fight turn him into a jabber. because he don't want to get hit. And getting in there with Charlo, Triple G will get stopped because Charlo is a hard puncher. Canelo is gonna be different. Charlo, he got to work on his defense because it's gonna be Canelo can turn it into a Floyd versus Canelo situation because Canelo's defense is it's like Floyd's, but without the fast footwork. You said I made you in my image. I made you into a likeness. That his defense is a likeness of Floyd's. It's not Floyd's because he's not Floyd. It's a likeness of Floyd. And how Floyd exploited Canelo was speed of footwork. Because Canelo bend his knees, he throw good punches, he can roll his shoulder, he know how to roll his head and take the shock off. But what Floyd could do is hit you directly on your chin and be gone before you even think to do anything. And when you hit and you swing in that air. And that's what he did with Canelo. And he kept that sharp angle and really didn't let Canelo land nothing even clean. And that bothers a fighter like Canelo. So, like, just going against Canelo, he would turn it into a very technical boxing match on a very high level because he's been a pro since he was 16. You know what I mean? So he's been a pro longer than Charlo, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to be careful. But don't get me wrong. The Charlos are still nice, but it's definitely levels, bro. And Canelo is at a very, very, very high level because his defense. And it don't matter if you hitting hard because everybody Floyd fought was bigger than him. And that don't matter in the highest level. It's about defense and how you can break somebody down fundamentally. Like the Baphomet. Floyd is the boxing Baphomet. He could solve you and coagulate you. That means he could break you down and then take all of that, put it in his mind, put it together to beat you, bro. He one of the smartest neguses, which is an Ethiopian word for king and emperor in this era, bro. He a genius for what he did. And